Hey guys, hope you guys are having a good day, and I appreciate you stopping by. Every day the community keeps growing, and now people are starting to stop by the stream. If you guys don't know about my stream, I stream basically every day, so I can make you guys a video. I've been trying to stick with it once a day, but making a video once a day has been pretty hard on me, so I've been doing my best to get you guys out a video a day. And I just want to let you guys know, I've been enjoying it, this set at least. But there is clearly some meta comps right now that you really can't get away from. The two that really stick out the most is Ox Force with 4 Spell Slingers with Twisted Fate carry, and the other one is Anima Squad with Misfortune carry. They're by far the best comps this entire set. I wouldn't touch threats with a 10-foot pole, and this game we were playing bruisers or brawlers. I wanted to show you guys a game where you can play something unconventional. I mean, you're not going to get first places. I'm just going to keep it a $1.50 with you. If somebody's like, if they got BIS items on a meta comp and you're playing some off-brand Walmart shit, you're never going to win. But coming into this opener, as you can see, we already have 3 brawlers on the board. It was Renekton, Lee Sin, and Blitzcrank. And we come into the first shop, right? And these are all 2 costs. So as you see, this is a 2 cost, 2 cost, 2 cost. So when I refresh, I'm going to get all 2 costs. So the only real augments that I'm going to get is either like I could go for like Annie for Ox Force or something, or maybe Draven, but these Draven items suck. So you're always just going to choose something that synergizes with your comp. Your cut, I'm not taking this. I'm not playing Renegades, and I really don't have an opener for Undergrounds. That's usually what you're going to want to look for if you have like this opening. You're going to want to have like a Sona already on bench, and then you could probably roll for a Kale to get into Undergrounds. So in this case, we're just going to take Invigorate, because it gives your whole board a freaking shit ton of attack speed. And now I'd have to say, Brawlers are pretty decent. I don't know if they touched Warwick with a patch recently, because I don't read patch notes. I just kind of get a feel of the game versus like who I'm playing with, and I just see how things turn out. I don't enjoy reading patch notes and like micromanaging the game. I still think you're supposed to have some fun. But getting the Lee Sin pair this early is phenomenally broken. He's going to just keep spamming shields, and I chose to put the Draven on the board because you need some form of DPS. These brawlers, even though they'll do work, they're a bunch of meat sticks. And since Lee Sin's augments on the board, Draven's going to have a ton of free of attack speed, and that's all you really need, right, to get him cooking. At this point, you really don't need Renekton. You could tech in something else if you really wanted to, but we're going to be basically just going for a brawler game. What I found is, although this guy contested me, there's a few people grabbing brawlers, but the good part about it being contested on brawlers, it really doesn't matter. Because most of the people who use brawlers are using like Vi, Forever Relentless Force for like this for undergrounds, or they're using like safeguards with heart. Nobody really goes the whole 6 brawlers. So if you're like looking for a comp to just have in your pocket pick, this might be it, man. I very rarely ever get contested on brawlers. The admins, I feel like, are just broken this set. I know they did a ton of admin changes in the patch notes. I glimpsed. But, like, if you look at the patch notes for just the admins, there's like 42 things on there. And with the free attack speed, Jax is just going to start cooking. What I'd recommend the overall strategy is, if you wanted to add this into your repertoire, is I would just start playing this, get Jax, put your items on Jax, start holding other Jaxes on your bench, and just pivot into Warwick and go for 4 admin. That's the game plan, man. Because you spike, I don't want to say spike, but you stabilize really hard really early in this game, where like people only have 1-star units, and then you have 4 brawler, or you can get in 6 brawler on level 6, and then your board just a bunch of beefcakes, and Jax will slowly beat in their head with that light post. So we're leveling up on 2-5. This is nothing new. And we're going to be looking to level up on 3-2. But we got a little bit of a win streak going, as you can see here. A lot of people are talking about this, or like God, Zeesh, I can't speak. You'll hear, there we go. So Challenger players talking about how broken Blitzcrank is, because that unit literally is just a Goliath. I watched Soju stream the other day, and the dude even said like Blitzcrank's a 5-star, and I couldn't agree with him more. Blitzcrank 2 is just a beast, man, because he's so tanky with the brawler, and he takes overall like damage reduction. I was thinking about slamming the Bloodthirster on Jax here because that is one of his items. Usually you want, like, you want Rapid Fire on him, then you want, like, Titans, and then, like, some Vamp item, whether it's Gunblade. This item is for sure Gunblade, because it heals the other brawlers for so much HP throughout the fight that it becomes too much for people to deal with. We put the Jinx on the board because yet again we need more damage, and she's just a stall bot. She'll stun them like 2 or 3 times in a fight. I was thinking about buying the Misfortune here and putting her out on my board, but it'd break gold interest too much. And we're just going through the motions here. Any leftover items, because we're starting to... I would give you guys a good rule of thumb. Here's a good rule of thumb if you don't know what to do. You should never have more than, like, in my opinion, 1 component on the bench. Some people say 2 components, but I feel like you just miss out on too much. And I'll treat this like an augment, okay, for you guys. So when you put your admin out on the board, if you're going this route, you're going to always probably be 4 admin, unless you get a Negatron Cloak and a Spatula to make 6 admin. And, like, yeah, I think you also need, like, an augment for it. You're going to choose anything with team buffs, okay? Anything with team buffs. So we got start a combat, your team gains 25% HP, or start a combat, your team gains 20 permanent maximum health, okay? They both seem good, but there's just one that's clearly better. This attack speed gets your whole board juiced, man. It gets you moving. It gets your comp doing what they got to do. If you're choosing this 20 permanent health, I mean, yeah, late game you'll have a lot of health, but all it's gonna mean is that your team takes longer to get killed by the fucking Twisted Fate who keeps slapping your face with cards, man. That's all this shit's gonna be. Dude's gonna be hitting you with 52 card pickup on your lips, and you're just gonna have to take it. Whereas this team attack speed actually gets Jax scaling. You know, Lee Sin gets the roundhouse kicking. Blitzcrank, he ain't doing shit. But you got Renekton over here. He's hitting him with whatever the hell that is. It's an axe or some shit. And it gets your whole team moving, man. Even though we already got Lee Sin for the attack speed steroid, you know, Jax scales by his attack speed, and getting him ramping really quick is really important, especially if we're looking to get Warwick out on the board. You know, and like another admin buff too as well. So this is just a superior one as a whole. You know, anything that's team buff oriented, though, you're going to want to focus in on. And at this point, I can't keep letting all these items chill on my bench. So we're just going to slam these. And Lee Sin's basically a ticker, like a... He's like a dot at this point. The longer you keep Lee Sin alive and you keep the Sunfire cooking... Sunfire is a lot of damage, man. People sleep on this, but Sunfire is just a lot of damage throughout the course of a fight. Especially if you're able to keep it up the whole fight and just it doesn't get insta-killed. Okay, I gotta be quicker about this, but sorry guys, it's on 2.0 speed. I'm gonna freeze these augments for you so I can explain my thought process. Okay, coming into this augment, so we're 4 brawlers, we have 2 items, we have 1 item on Jax. There's a few things you can go here. You're never taking built differently, okay? It's either between component grab bag and trade sector. And in my opinion, I was either thinking in my head, I'm either going for like Jax 3. I didn't know at this point, but I saw several other brawler players in the lobby, and I just want to hit my shit. I wouldn't blame you if you took component grab bag, but odds are, because I don't even have a reforger, like, what if you get, like, I've gotten 2 tiers before out of a component grab bag, and Soraka isn't in the game anymore, so you're going to be doing a lot of crying. This basically guarantees you that you're going to hit your units. That's what this is. This at least guarantees you're going to get 1 upgrade on each one of your units. And it gives me 10 gold. It's a little bit of a gold injection. So 10 gold on 3-2, right? So let's start using our frontal lobes here. We're all old men. I looked at the analytics on the video. It's everybody's like 25 up in this B. We're going to use trade sector with this 10 gold because it takes 12 gold to level up here on 3-2. This is basically a free level up without breaking gold interest, and you're able to start getting your free upgraded pairs. And on 3-2, another thing to think about is that you're at 40% on grain costs now, meaning we're more inclined to hit that Lee Sin 2, boys, and the Vi upgrade. So you see how we're at 40% now, and we're going to get free refreshes on 40% and 30% Jax? We're about to go to the moon, man. We're about to go to the moon. But that's breaking it down for you guys. That's how you got to start thinking about it. You can't, like, just be like, oh, shiny colors. You got to actually start thinking about the interval you're at as well, if you want to make the most out of it. There's another thing, guys. Look at the Kaisa items. A lot of people don't know this. You can put Spear Sojin on Kaisa too. It's basically a free attack speed steroid for her, without having to like have like Rage Blade on her. We don't need 5 Brawler in. It'd be nice to have a second DPS, but one thing that's really cool about this hero augment and this admin is with all this attack speed, Bel'Veth starts really cooking, man. Because her whole thing is just attack speed, right? So I basically have like off-brand Warwick on my board right now. And the good part about this is, this means I can transfer items from Jax over to Bel'Veth right now and use her as a placeholder for Warwick. So I can start actually stacking my Jaxes and have the potential to go for a 3-star Jax and actually have my items there cooking for Warwick. Because even if you hit like Jax 3, it's still not as good as Warwick in my opinion, because he gains like, you know, admin buff. So that's why I sold him here. I mean, I could add upgraded Jax, but I don't think it would have been worth it. And another thing, I don't know what it is this set. I'm gonna try to explain it to you guys. There's probably clinical like terms for it or something in the game, but in past sets, right? I'm gonna show you guys here in a second. In past sets, let's say this is like your beefy frontline right here. Look at my cursor. We're doing, you know, this ain't that high quality. We ain't got a video editor over here and like an intern that I ain't paying shit. You see how we got this front line here? In the past, you used to put your Jax on like this hex, or like this hex, and it allowed Jax to walk out and wrap, right? Walk out and wrap. And he would be able to go to the back line here. But for whatever reason, this set, it's not that optimal. Because in this set, you got to get to doing what you're getting to doing. And the vast majority of the time when you're playing these brawlers like Jax and Warwick, you're putting Titan's Resolve on them. And most of the time, it takes forever if he's just auto-attacking and get that Titan's Resolve going. And if you got 6 Brawler, bro, and you're already a beefcake, you're better off getting that Titan's cooking so he actually starts doing some damage without having him to do this long-ass walk, man. It's better for him to just be here and start beating shit up. Because the aggro for these outer corners, over here and over here, are always going to focus down on these one guys, right? And I started realizing that in my positioning throughout the game. Because I'm like, okay, it's taking forever for Jax and Warwick to start rapping and get to the backline and get to what they're doing. Because Jax scales attack speed by punching people in the face, right? So, there you go. Also, we took out the LeBlanc. Because I think just having a second Lee Sin out on the board that's a 2-star is much stronger. It's another 4-star Brawler, and every time they shield, you know, you're getting the attack speed bonus anyways. So, that's like a little bit of min-maxing. It's presenting your strongest board possible here. And another thing to think about with these Brawlers, that why I think this is like a good flex pick, is in the final fights when you start getting down to these last couple combats, it's one of the easiest comps to flex in for both Defender and Aegis. Because with Vi, you can have Aegis and tech it in, or with Riven, you can tech in Defender, man. It's one of the easier ways to go about it. You know, a little bit of min-max in here. So people don't think positioning matters a whole lot in this game, but it really does. Here, don't get mad at me, guys. Don't get mad at me. Okay. I made a little mistake, because hindsight's 20/20. Hindsight's 20/20. Give me a break. In this spot, this is just a Gigabyss item. Actually, these two are Gigabyss. You could take Ancient Archives here and coin flip your game for first place by going for 8 Brawler. This is an option. 9 times out of 10, you're going to go makeshift here, because we went over this before. What makes units tanky? HP and resistances. We already have a shitload of HP from Brawler. This is all the resistances we'd ever need. And let's say you had some shitty augments here and you didn't have a reroll. Edge and Knife actually isn't too bad on Brawlers. You know, it's not great. But since all your units are on the front line anyways, it does something. You know, like, it's not as bad as people make it out to be. It's like shit, don't get me wrong, but it's not like that shit. But these two are gigabits. This is for coin flipping your game if you want to try to go for the A brawler. This is what you should go 10 out of 10 times. 10 out of 10 times if you want to be a consistent player. I wasn't thinking here. My brain was off a little bit. I was like on my 20th game and on my stream. So I refresh here. And these are all good except for Phony Frontline. With Brawlers, the fights tend to go on super long, especially when you have Warwick, so Ascension isn't that bad. But Big Friend, man. This is basically just 10% less damage for all of your units the whole game, because all of your units have above 1600 health. We're doing a little bit of rolling here on 7, because we already have 2 Belvests, right? We already had 2 Belvests, and I'm like, okay, if I hit the Belveth, I just win, right? We also came across a Warwick. I have Warwick pair. Here's the whole thing about rolling down. Is, let's say you want to roll down to hit something, and you're like in a lead like this. You know, we're at 80 HP. We're doing really good in the lobby. Don't roll below 30 gold. That's just a good rule of thumb. Because if you roll below 30 gold, your econ is just nuked for the rest of the game. There's no recovering from it. Like, you're not going to be able to get your money back up. You can throw your whole game just by rolling on, like, a horrible interval for nothing here. And then look at this guy. He's holding all my brawlers, man. It's all good. If I either hit Warwick here or Belveth, I wanted to keep rolling, because if I hit either of these pairs, it's just I win. But I was like, no, I need to go level 8. I need to go level 8 and get in 4 admin. Look at that tanky-ass Lee Sin. One thing I will say, though, is I think my Lee Sin glitched out this game. It's either he's generating too much mana too quick, and he just wouldn't ever walk anywhere, but you guys will see it in some of these fights here. He just stands still. We're just basically going for a 3rd Warwick item. Belveth and her share the same items. If we can't hit one, we're just going to grab, like, a utility item. At this point, I'm like, okay, screw Belveth. She's, like, mid anyways. I'm like, alright, I'm just gonna go level 8 and get in 4 admin. Go for the Warwick 2. But as you can see, guys, this is the easiest shit comp to play. You know, this isn't rocket science. I think they nerfed Warwick, so I really don't mind playing him anymore. But, yeah, I mean, if you get a good augment for it, don't be afraid of playing it. It's, like, really consistent. You don't, like, even if you start losing, you're gonna lose by much. Throughout the course of the game, it just always, it stabilizes super hard. And here's the other thing. So we have Lee Sin with attack speed, or admin gives attack speed. Warwick scales basically off attack speed and attack damage, right? So you're gonna want to go with attack damage here. And here's another thing. I can't hover over it and show you guys, but depending on your precursing admin buff, right? If it says like team buff or admin buff, whenever you select these, it's going to be either team or admin. So if you select gain 25% health shield, the admins gain 25% shield. But since we select team, our team would gain a 25% health shield. So all of these homies that are like thicker than a bowl of oats, they're getting 25% shield based off of that. So it's something to think about, right? Like, this is basically a 3rd tier locket on your whole team. But I'm gonna take this because Warwick's basically our only damage. You need him to be able to kill shit or you just lose. And at this point, the board's pretty capped, man. Like, the board doesn't get, like, level 8, you cap out pretty hard. You get 4 admin, 4 brawler. I don't think the laser corp makes or breaks it, honestly, with Warwick. And at this point, I believe I decided not even to go to Riven 3. I'm way too far off. I don't have enough gold. I think if I held the Rivens throughout the game, I could have got Riven 3. But I'm just going to start liquidating and look to push 9 here. Especially since I got the Mordekaiser, I can put a Mordekaiser and get in the Laser Corp. Making a 3rd Warwick item here. The only thing we can really make is Hodge. If you wanted to tech and hacker, I guess you could, but I really don't think it's needed. But I wouldn't give this comp an S tier. I would give this comp like lower A, upper B. I would say it's really consistent because you don't get contested too often. Especially now since what's meta isn't retaining to this at all. So there's a lot of games where you'll just win by people not hitting. Because if everybody's going the Ox Force shit, not everybody's going to be able to hit it. So if you're getting a free Warwick 2, you know, 6 Brawler, 4 Admin, all your whole board's upgraded for free, basically. They can't really deal with it. It just becomes too much. Especially if you got really good ramping items on Warwick. And also, here's like another thing, man. Gigabis Warwick items is the difference between him being like a Goliath and him just being what he is, you know? Having him with Titans is like, makes him like a whole tier better. I'm not even kidding you. It's such a night and day difference if you have Titans on him. You want like Titans. If you really wanted to here, you could probably go for like Warwick 3, but I feel like I'm too far off to be able to do it. And this is what I mean by, you see how I start putting the Warwick on the front? It takes too long for him to start wrapping. But the biggest issue is, you don't want your Warwick on the outer side where they're going to get targeted first. I want him to start actually getting in there and start attacking things, man. I'm not trying to have him take like 3 or 4 steps and start walking around. I know it doesn't seem like it matters, but it honestly does. It really does. All this small shit starts adding up. Because also if he gets that kill reset, his ability makes him lunge and jump to the next person. So I used to always position them behind so they would wrap. But I think now if you're playing Brawlers, you have to frontline them. I think you have to. And unless you have like rapid fire cannon where they can stand behind, or like you can hacker them in, that's like the only option really. We're just grabbing Static Shiv because even though they're Brawlers, a lot of them do AP damage besides Warwick. And here's the thing to note. Whichever side you have your Warwick on, you're going to want to Zephyr the other side in this case. Because let's say they had a 3-star Ashe or something with like that new reroll variation. You don't want your Warwick to just spawn in and get lasered down in like 2 seconds. You want him to at least kill a good chunk of the board. We're frontlining Mordekaiser, so he can at least cast. I don't care if Camille doesn't cast. And at this point, you're seeing, if you want to actually, like, if you're talking about, like, metagaming here, like, this is if you're really not lazy. I could go back here and explain. Where's it at? If you are actually really good at scouting, and you cared about metagaming a lot, if you put your LeBlanc here, and you Zephyr this Aatrox, this is too much of a beefy line for Warwick to just walk here. Warwick's gonna walk up. He's gonna walk up right to the back line and go across like this. And he's gonna slurp up all these people. So, people say positioning doesn't matter, but when you start getting utility items like Zephyr, if you actually, like, start, like, positioning like this, because who cares if LeBlanc, like, ults, right? Who cares? If you actually start doing shit like this, it makes, like, it's a difference between, like, you winning or, like, losing a 20 HP fight. So if you put your Zephyr here, it would have Zephyred the Aatrox and walked all the way back here and started eating up everything. Let's say it wasn't a 1-star Aatrox and he could have got through it faster, you know? That's just an example. I thought I won this for a second. I thought Lee Sin was a Giga Beast. At this point, I was thinking the Laser Corp just sucked ass and that didn't matter. And I started looking at my matchups towards the end here. And I'm like, okay, AD, AP, and I'm like, okay, this Laser Corp isn't really doing a whole lot. I already got the Vi on, or the Riven out on the board. I don't have Vi. So I can tech and Defender. I think Defender, giving my whole board armor, is more valuable than giving, like, my whole board magic resist with, like, Aegis. Plus, I don't have a Vi on my board right now. Like, he's AD, somebody else is AD. And I scoot my Lee Sin over to the right a bit more so he can start tanking the brunt of a lot of that DPS. Because he doesn't die, man. My whole board dies and then Lee Sin dies. So the biggest thing is I should have started putting the Lee Sin, like, directly in front of their carries. You know? But I hope you guys learned something from the game. this is basically just me giving you a rundown of, like, this game turned out to be a third. I know you can't see it, but it's a new comp you can put in your repertoire. It's really easy to play. It's really easy to navigate, you know, especially if you're not able to hit the Ox forces or like a Anima squad. So I hope you guys have a good day, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, leave a like on the video. All right, bye.